them all what I'm made up. Strut down the hall, won't stop till I get enough.
Okay, so you sent this in from CBS Chicago.
Yeah.
And wow, Sunday, March 30th, 2025.
Yeah.
Sounds like it was a pretty wild day weather-wise.
Oh, absolutely. It was definitely a day to remember in the Chicago area.
Yeah, for sure. So we're going to dive into this news report together and really just understand what happened with these storms that kind of blew through.
Exactly. We'll break it all down and hopefully help you understand, what made this event so significant.
Okay, so right off the bat, the article talks about these fast-moving, severe solar storms.
Well,
But, what made them so severe?
Well, the big thing was the wind.
Oh, okay.
We saw multiple reports of wind gusts that were actually hurricane force.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, 81 miles per hour in Valparaiso, 75
Yeah.
at Lakes of the Four Seasons, and then 74 in both Gary and Linwood.
Wow. So, that...
Yeah, to put that in perspective,
Yeah.
74 miles per hour or higher, that's classified as hurricane force.
Wow.
That's not something you usually see with your average thunderstorm in the Midwest.
Definitely not.
And it can obviously cause some pretty serious damage.
So hurricane force winds from just a thunderstorm.
Yeah, pretty intense, right?
That's crazy. The article also mentions tornado warnings.
Right.
Where exactly were those issued?
So those were specifically for parts of northwest Indiana.
Gotcha.
The National Weather Service, they first issued them for Lake and Newton counties.
Okay.
And then later on for Stark and the northwest part of Pulaski County.
Okay.
And it's really important to remember that, a tornado warning,
Right.
that means a tornado has actually been sighted or picked up on radar.
Yeah.
So it means you need to take action immediately in those areas.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Right.
And there was a broader threat too, right? A
Yeah.
tornado watch?
Exactly. So there was a tornado watch in effect.
Okay.
But this covered a much wider area, including most of Chicago and northwest Indiana,
Yeah.
which means conditions were right for tornadoes to develop.
Right.
And on top of that, we also had severe thunderstorm warnings across northern Illinois
Yeah.
and northwest Indiana.
Oh, wow.
So basically, a lot of potential for damaging winds and large hail over a really big area.
Yeah, sounds like a pretty dicey situation. And,
Yeah.
The article really emphasized the speed of these storms, too, 50 to 60 miles per hour.
Yeah, it was incredible.
That's so fast.
Yeah, that's really fast. And it's often linked to a strong jet stream that kind of pushes these storms along. So it means they move through very quickly.
Gotcha.
Downtown Chicago, for example.
Yeah.
It got hit just before 3 p.m, and by 3.45, the worst of it was over.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that quick movement makes it really tough to get warnings out in advance,
I bet.
which is why it's so important for people to, pay attention to the forecasts and be ready to react.
Yeah, preparedness is key, for sure.
Yeah.
It sounds like even with warnings, though,
Yeah,
there were still disruptions, like the White Sox game got delayed.
that's right. And, that's a good example of how this kind of weather can impact everyday life.
Yeah, totally. And the article also mentions a pretty sharp temperature drop after the storms passed. What causes that?
So that sudden drop in temperature usually happens when a strong cold front moves through.
Okay.
And that front often follows right behind these severe thunderstorms.
Gotcha.
It's basically a boundary between the warmer, unstable air that fuels the storms
Right.
and then the much cooler, more stable air mass behind them.
So it's like a switchover.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. And what was the immediate forecast after all this happened?
Well, the article said it was going to be cloudy Sunday night
Okay.
with temperatures dropping down to about 35 degrees.
Grr.
Yeah. And then for Monday, they were expecting a much colder air mass to settle in
Ooh.
with a chance of rain early in the morning and even some wet snow possible.
Really?
Yeah. And a high only in the low 40s.
Wow, what a change.
Definitely a big shift to much colder conditions.
Yeah, that's quite a swing.
Yeah.
So basically you had these really powerful, fast-moving thunderstorms
Right.
with hurricane force winds in some places, tornado warnings in northwest Indiana, a tornado watch, and severe thunderstorm warnings across a big chunk of the region,
Exactly.
leading to disruptions and then that rapid temperature drop afterwards.
You got it.
It's kind of crazy how quickly these intense weather events can appear and then move through.
It really is. And especially during spring in the Midwest.
Right. Yeah. This time of year is known for that. I guess this is a good reminder for everyone listening.
Definitely.
Are you really paying attention to your local weather?
It's so important.
Because things can change so fast.
Absolutely. Meteorologists like Ed Curran,
Yeah.
who's quoted in this CBS Chicago article,
Right.
they provide such crucial information in real time.
Yeah. They're lifesavers sometimes.
For sure.
Yeah.
So it's really worth thinking about how you stay informed and prepared.
Yeah.
Because you just never know when these powerful weather events might pop up.
Absolutely. Great advice. Well, thanks for breaking this all down with me.
You're welcome. It was my pleasure.
Always interesting to see what Mother Nature throws our way.
That's for sure. She always keeps us on our toes.
As she does.
All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time, stay safe and stay informed.
Stay safe.
Sound the alarm. I'm coming up. We'll have the ball. I'm sweet like a buttercup. You're a Barbie doll. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall. Won't stop till I get enough.